The Weekly Warp Pipe.
What's up, my Warp Pipers? Welcome back to another episode. We're going to be diving into, is the game industry in trouble? We have all this talk about tariffs coming in, digital games making the forefront and getting rid of physical stuff. So we're going to dive into some of those issues later in the episode. Vintage Toy Box is back, and we're diving into Exo Squad. Not sure if you remember that series. There was a cartoon, and we just rented the game for Warp Pipe Rental. So curious on how many of you guys remember that series. And lastly, if you're looking to support the show, we just opened up channel memberships on our YouTube channel here. There'll be more information later in the episode to see what you guys get for signing up. All right, guys, that's the gist of it. So sit back, relax, enjoy some nostalgia, and let's jump in the Warp Pipe. Welcome back. Welcome back. What's up, guys?
How's everyone going?
Going good. Going good.
Yeah.
Just chilling, hanging out.
What you been up to?
Making a bunch of videos, editing, trying to get organized for sure. The other night I was staying up to finish a video. I had an idea of like, oh, this would be cool. Start a new series. I love starting new series. And I decided to grab one of my Nintendo Powers. And I looked up, a couple people had some videos up like this, and I was kind of researching a little bit, and I was like, all right, let's see how this goes. So basically I took issue 11. It's the cover with Super Mario Brothers 3 on Nintendo Power.
Yeah.
And I read the entire magazine. So it's an hour-long video up on my YouTube channel. I did a top-down camera and then a camera facing me, and kind of switched between the two, and just kind of went. I didn't read every single page, but I read some of the stories and talked about the games, getting Nintendo Power, and be like, oh, maybe getting this issue, and maybe you didn't get Super Mario Brothers 3 yet, but you're looking at the screenshots and the maps and kind of getting excited to get the game. And I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to try to do one video a week, and I'm unsure formatting wise. So the reason why I grabbed volume 11 was because it came out of March/April 1990. So I chose the month we're currently in, just a different year. So whether I'm going to continue like for next month, choose like the next one and go down, or just maybe it could just be random, whatever. Right.
Yeah. It seems like it'd be an easy edit as well.
The only issue is because it's so long. I do a live edit, so you can get both cameras, sync them up, and when you hit playback in Final Cut Pro, you have your two images or whatever going at the same time, and you can just click, okay, I want to switch to this camera, back and forth. And I'll have to remember with my Canon I was shooting, I'm going to switch to 4K, because then I'll be able to get another shot like zoomed in more, so I can have the widescreen shot and then the zoomed in shot as an extra one. And I was thinking about setting my GoPro up on the table, like close to the magazine, so you can get like a real close one.
Yeah.
And I just ordered these almost like big mouse pads. They're basically vinyl sheets that you would put on your table. And I ordered 3 different colors, and it just makes it look a lot cleaner than the desk. The desk I have is like wood, and I'm like, I ordered a like a light green, a purple, and I think a teal. So depending on the magazine, I could switch it out. And I was like, I think that'll look a lot cleaner. So the next few episodes, I'll be tweaking stuff, but something new. So I did that, and then I have to finish editing one of my Nintendo episodes. I played Mario is Missing. I don't know if you ever played that game.
I have not played that one. No,
I did way too much.
Very difficult. It's like you got to go find different artifacts and then trade them into the right place. I don't know. It was a tough play for sure. So I got to finish that video.
Okay.
I think I don't know if that's one of the ones, but there's a couple of those ones where they did like those Mario like history style ones.
Right.
There's actually a bunch of the history that's like completely wrong. Like they
no kidding
just made up stuff that they're teaching you. So be careful with that. Careful with that. Don't Don't take everything you read as what it actually is.
Face
on those.
value on that. Yeah, this one also
Yeah.
came out on Super Nintendo apparently too, and there's some slight differences on that.
That's
But
what I had. I think was the Super Nintendo version as a kid, and I spent a whole summer playing it because that was all I had of the old games.
Oh,
And we
okay.
had that one. So I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, oh, we'll play this, not knowing that it wasn't very good.
Yeah, I definitely played better games for sure, but
Yeah.
I did finish Shenmue. I beat Shenmue.
Oh, nice.
And then the way it ends, I was kind of like, what? It leads right into Shenmue 2. Like the way it
Oh,
ends. I thought I was going to Hong Kong. You've been trying to get like out there so you could avenge your fathers and all this. And then it ends and he's like on the boat going. And then it was like, that's it. Like, see you in Shenmue 2. And I'm like, Aldo was telling me, he's like, well, when Shenmue 2 ends, then it goes into 3 or whatever. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to play all 3 of them. I'll probably play 2 a little bit, but I'm not sure if I'll beat it just to kind of see, what it's all about.
how long are they? Are they long?
Yeah, because they're not really. It's hard to describe what kind of game it is. It's not like an RPG, but like it's still, I don't know, action adventure. Like you can certainly roam around and talk to the NPCs a bunch, prolonging the experience and making it longer. I was kind of using a guide towards the end, so it kind of sped some stuff up.
Okay.
It wasn't
Nice.
bad. I beat that, and then I still need to beat Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. That's going to be next on the list.
I kind of gave
Nice.
up on that game after a while. I don't know, it just like it was too intricate with like making all the echoes and things like that, and I don't know, like I kind of lost interest in it pretty quickly. Maybe I'll jump back into it. Who knows?
I was gonna say it does have a lot of, I feel like, influence from Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom at
For
certain
sure.
things.
It's just the amount of, you know what it is? It's like that, when you have to like go through all of your like items,
Yeah,
it's like, come on. It's like
you're
you end
just
up using
like
certain
scrolling,
ones all the
scrolling, scrolling.
time. It's just continuous scroll. And I don't know, maybe I'll jump into it back, again, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to Hyrule Warriors when it comes out though.
Fair
What about
enough.
you, Keith? What have you been up to?
Well, I played a whole bunch of Super Nintendo games for video, about 10 games in my Super Nintendo collection. I played some pretty good ones. There was ones like Contra 3, The Alien Wars on there, which I'd never really got into. So it was fun to play that one. And there was some pretty bad ones like Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, where you're trying to take out vacuum cleaners that are chasing you for some reason. So I played a bunch of that stuff for a video. Worked a lot. Ended up getting hooked on a phone on like a game on my phone called like King Shot or something. So I was hooked on that most of the weekend, playing that, upgrading my little kingdom and stuff, and probably played too much of that, but like an embarrassing amount. Honestly, it was an embarrassing amount.
Is it one of those like free games that you like have to buy items and stuff?
Yeah, I think you can buy items. It's loading. I'll show you. Like you can buy items and stuff in it, but it's got like this little kingdom, and you're kind of in charge of that. So if I can get rid of the glare on that.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
building your little kingdom up, and then you're going on little adventures, and you actually got these cool little heroes that you can. Oh, that's not gonna work. You can play as and stuff like that. So I saw it on an ad.
What is that called?
King Shot.
King Shot.
Interesting one. King
All right,
Shot. Yeah, so I played that.
Get a
so
sponsorship.
I mean, right? If they're looking to sponsor us, we're here.
If we can't get Raid Shadow Legends, we're getting King Shot.
Let's get King Shot. I would say that it's pretty good because again, I played an embarrassing amount of that over the weekend, like way too much.
Okay.
Other than that, not a lot. Had a video come out on Sunday that was kind of looking at some top, like the hardest games that article had done for Nintendo, and looked at those, and some of them I agreed with, the other ones are a little weird, but other than that, it's been honestly a pretty quiet week. What about you, David? What have you been up to?
Well, speaking of videos coming out on Sunday, I had my first video in 3.5 years come out on YouTube this past Sunday. So just a few days ago. It's out there. So it's a big stress relief. I'll say that. I mean, as you guys know from starting doing the podcast with you guys, I'm gaining a little bit more confidence, and I said to myself, I just got to do it. So I set up the camera in my game room here, and I was just like, I got to talk to the camera and just throw it in there and put it out there, and that's what I did. And so I took my shot, and I feel a lot better about it now. So I think we're a go. So I've been shooting a lot more. I also, this past Sunday, I had there it is. Look at that. I had a toy show that I vended at on Sunday, which went really well. I was able to raise some money for the upcoming Chicago Toy Show that I'm going to be driving out to with our friend Cruz, as well as Sprooch. And we're going to meet up with Edge Retro Geek Out. We're going to meet up with Narc. We're going to meet up with Pixel Dan. We're all going to go game hunting together. So there should be a lot of content coming. I just gotta do it. So other than that, it's been a lot of prepping for the show this past Sunday, getting the YouTube video up, doing some more stuff for the podcast. Because next week we record early, so I'm going to have to catch up so I can get it all done before we go to Chicago. So that's pretty much it. And then this weekend we got Easter and so on. So it's crunch time. But yeah, that's
Zombie Jesus Day.
Zombie Jesus Day.
It'll be a busy weekend.
Yep, it's going to be busy. And then Monday, so we have Easter weekend. Monday, I go to the Mets game with my buddy Tom Dietz, who does our website. And then Tuesday, we record the podcast because we have to record early, because Wednesday morning is when I leave for Chicago. So it's going to be a crazy next few days for me, because I got to get everything done for the podcast by the end of the week this week.
Also, side note, I just noticed your hoodie.
Oh yeah, I made a hoodie. Look at that. I made a hoodie
with the new logo on it.
I might as well, right? I got those, and I got stickers. So I'm going to be bringing these to. There's a little QR code there.
Nice.
You'll get right there. So I'm going to be bringing these with me, as well as the weekly Warp Pipe stickers.
Yeah.
And we'll hand these out at the show, and hopefully reach a new audience. Be fun.
Nice. Good stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did place an order. I was talking to Dave for pins.
Sweet.
Like pin back pins or whatever. They're, I think, an 1.25 inches. I think we went with this, or maybe 1.5 inches.
I think they were 1.5 inches. You mentioned
maybe 1.5 inches. I was showing
the
Simpsons ones I had, and I had a Ninja Turtle one. I'm like, what do you think? So those I think are going to be here tomorrow. So
sweet.
That's good on that.
How many did you get?
It was 50.
Okay. I may run by to pick up a few for just to throw on my bag or something for Chicago.
Nice.
Ready to get into it?
Big things coming.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Guess we'll get into it. Moving along. That's what's been happening. We're raring to go.
All right, so we're going to jump to our Warp Pipe rental. Each week we look at a game or a movie and we check it out. So let's see what we checked out this week. Hit it, Russ.
Let's head to the video store, grab a game for the weekend. We have the box art and description to guide us when we're choosing what game to rent. So grab your rental card, because this is the Warp Pipe Rental.
What game you rent for the weekend?
All right, guys. I feel like a lot of people probably haven't played this game before. Exo Squad on the Sega Genesis was the rental we said to grab for this weekend, based on the cartoon that came out. There was a toy line and everything. And I had seen this cover kind of floating around, and I was like, you know what? The screenshots in the back here look pretty cool. They have like a first person flying stage where you're shooting stuff. And then you have like a side scrolling platformer area when you're in your mech suit and fighting. So I was like, this could be a good time. The cover looks awesome. If you ever watched the show or the toy line, you'd probably be like, all right, let's go. So I popped it in. I didn't have the official copy, so I did play this on my modded SNES Classic, which has all the games, so that makes it easy to stream or rent some of these. So I didn't get to play on an actual Sega Genesis, but I got to play it nonetheless. It's it's pretty heavy story based. I would say right off the bat. If you didn't watch the show or like play with the toys or anything, it catches you up to speed pretty good with the cutscenes. And I think the colors look great and everything. Storytelling. I mean, maybe you can kind of get a little annoyed because it's really building that story before you get into your first stage of action. So
I clocked it. It's like 4.5 minutes.
Is it? Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a long
It does have
time.
really cool imagery though. That's one thing I did notice right away was the look of that story and like the cuts, like not even, I don't know if you call them cutscenes, or just like images you're kind of looking at it. It's giving you the text. I thought
And
they
it's
were
animated.
really well done. Yeah, they're really cool looking.
It's like you're watching a cartoon.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost, like straight lifted from the show itself, essentially.
Yeah.
I'll see if I could bring up some
I liked
gameplay here.
how it gives you like information about the characters in that story bit there, like while we're going through this portion.
Yeah. It introduced. I thought it was funny because it shows the girl and it said her age and her weight was unknown. They're like, I'm not touching that.
It didn't give her a hobby. The other two, JT Marsh, it gives his hobby is fighting. And
right.
Wolf, the other character, his hobby, I wrote it down. His hobby's eating.
Yeah, I did notice that.
There's just no hobby,
no weight, no nothing.
Yeah,
she don't mess around.
But yeah, it does the story, and then it cuts into this, like I said, flight thing here. Now I did have some trouble like dodging these bullets that came out.
Oh yeah,
I died a bunch. Right, like you can't shoot these whatever they are on screen, bullets or whatever. You can just dodge left and right. So I died a few times, and I was like, all right, well, whatever. I got past
the other things that look like a little red tree coming.
Well, that's the thing is like, what was the goal of this level? Was it to shoot the things that were coming at you and dodge the other ones, or was it just like a time thing, like survival?
Right,
amount of time.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just you play it until time runs out. It's probably you have to kill those things a certain amount of times. Like, it almost looks like
that's what I figured. But then it just like the thing about this game is like once you get to the end of a level, it just like goes black screen, and you're like, okay, level's over, you did it.
Right,
and it goes into like, more story.
Like
there's no like there's no like you kind of like like for instance like Donkey Kong, you go into like a little cave or something at the end of a level or something.
Yeah,
like it's just blue screen and then
you're done
into the storyline. Yeah,
right.
So I thought that was interesting. I have a few
controls.
See, there you go.
Yeah, like this, right? It just cuts.
Here's your password.
It just cuts. Which I'm gonna say about the password. The password makes this game a great rental game.
Absolutely,
You could rent it, and then if you don't get very far by the end of the week or the weekend, then you could rent it next weekend and pick up where you left off. So really great to be a rental game.
Yeah, that's a pro for sure.
Yeah. And it also has, can we talk about the music?
Okay.
The music that's some banger music. Like the whole, like that music made me want to continue playing. Like I'm going to say, as difficult as the controls are, like listen to this. The controls are difficult.
With the flight simulator, you got music?
Oh, with the flight one? Yeah, okay. Let's go back to that.
Yeah, even the storyline, like just the storyline during the cartoon.
The groove's pretty hard.
So good.
So okay, yeah.
You do show the story one too.
Oh,
the
okay,
one is very good.
Yeah,
right.
Bobby eating.
So good.
Nice. Yeah, so hey, good soundtrack to keep
it's a great soundtrack.
Keep you playing, get you pumped up. How far did you guys end up getting? Did you beat the platforming stage or no?
I got through to like the first boss.
Okay.
Oh my god, why is my camera disconnecting?
I did not make it that far. I made it through that flight one, which took
The
me
flight one.
a ton of attempts to do
Yeah.
because I
And
had
then you
no
got
idea
here.
what I was doing. I did emulate it, so I was playing with like a Xbox 360 or Xbox One controller. So
Okay.
it was a little difficult, and it's interesting because at the start of the level, it tells you and makes you use the controls, right? It's like
Yeah, it
demonstrating it
shows
for the
you
first
what
couple.
the controls are.
Yeah. So, but if you're not paying attention to that, especially that first level with the flight thing, if you're just pressing the buttons and being like, okay, what do I do? Like your
Right,
typical
right,
kid
yeah.
would have been after a rental. Oh, okay. I press the buttons and
Boom,
I'm
boom,
playing.
boom. Yeah.
Then
Right.
it's like, I don't know what I do. I have no idea what the A button did in the flight one. I still don't know.
Right, because I thought it said hold it in and let go,
Yeah.
and then you get some charge shot, and nothing was working for me. And I was like, it
And
seems like I should just left to right and shoot. That's it.
yeah,
And I'll
the
say that
C
wasn't working
button
for me. Go ahead.
Oh,
I'm
it was
was
sorry.
okay,
something
you too.
different.
Yeah, well, for
Like,
me, it wasn't working because, and maybe Russ, I was going to ask you because I played the same way you did.
Mhm.
What controller did you use?
I used the Wii Pro controller.
So we didn't have a C button, right?
Yeah, it's just mapped different because you have X, Y.
Well, that's what I
Yeah,
mean,
A and
though.
B.
Is right. So I'm wondering if there was just some mapping thing that
I
was.
don't know.
But did you have issues then, Keith? You said.
I did, yeah. I tried pressing the A button, it did nothing. But the C button would, how I'd map the C button, it would work.
Okay.
Well, on the screen, it would tell me it was on or off.
Mm-hmm.
Did I see it do anything? Did
Right,
it
right.
change my flight pattern or make it so I could do anything? No. Like even like you're shooting in front of you in this scene we're watching here. We're shooting in front of us or below us. I couldn't figure out how to move that target around either. I just flew back and forth and hoped out for the best, basically.
I don't think you
I know.
can move that target.
No, and I know in the second level you can, but the controls
Right.
in the second level are even a little funky.
Yeah.
Like to get your
There's a
your
lot
aim to go
going
up and
on.
down, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's a lot going on that screen, like during all those flight levels.
Yeah.
It's wild. Like I didn't know at sometimes like what to dodge and what to hit
Right.
because it was just going so fast.
Yeah.
This is definitely like arcade style
Mhm.
that would have eaten a lot of quarters.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
For sure.
And
it
I
does
even
have an
looked it up.
arcade setting too, right?
It does have an arcade setting, and I even looked it up. There is no arcade cabinet though of this game. So I not that I could find anyway. So
Right.
I don't know. This is just on the Sega Genesis. So I thought that was interesting. I was like, yeah, this is totally an eater of quarters.
Yeah. Like it
But that
definitely had
story,
some
man.
interesting controls. The story was cool
Yes.
though.
Yeah.
It because it takes place before the cartoon. Is that kind of how the story?
I think
leads
so.
into?
If they trying to remember
Yeah.
what the cartoon, or at least they're, yeah,
Because
you're
in the cartoon, the Neo Sapiens have taken over.
right. And this is your meeting
Mars,
for
Venus,
the
and Earth, right? Earth and this is before
yeah.
that.
The summit takes place on the
Yeah.
second day of the summit.
I was kind of curious because they go back in time at 75 years or whatever, and they go
Mhm.
back so far where I was like, oh, that's only 30 years from now.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Where they go
20,
back,
I
so I'm
think,
like,
isn't it?
or maybe even 20. It might have even been
Yeah,
closer.
20,
It's 20.
2045, I think, is
Wow.
when they go back.
And when
to.
did this game come out? Do we have a date? It was like early 90s, mid 90s.
Yeah,
I
'cause
would say so.
the cartoon was 93, 94, right? So
So this is right
Probably
around the
like-
same time.
yeah.
Did the cartoon was the toy line after the cartoon and then the video game? Is that how this works?
Yeah, I'm
I'm
trying to
guessing
remember
it was one of those cartoons that was there to sell a toy line.
Oh,
But
okay.
maybe
So, well,
not in
yes,
93? I don't know.
maybe. I don't know. But it's I the controls are what got me. I was just like,
Mhm.
especially on the run and gun levels where you basically had to you could squat, you could raise the gun, lower the gun, jump, Like there was just the way. I mean, I know it sounds pretty simple, but when you really get into it, there's a lot of yeah, right. Like
It's
I'm
got
describing, I'm like,
jump, these crazy
oh my
controls.
god, these
Right.
Move the gun up and then down.
Well, and I mean,
crazy.
you've got
it's
three
basically
buttons,
Contra, guys.
right? You got 3 buttons, if not more, on a Sega Genesis. And
Right.
I gotta press left, like backwards, to crouch.
To crouch.
And then
Right,
press left
right.
again.
And then press
to
it again to
stand
get up. Yeah.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. It's just confusing the way that the whole thing.
I've got to
went.
hold
But-
forward to move forward,
Yeah.
and the rest up and down is move my gun up and down. It was very confusing. You're right.
Yeah, because like this, where Russ is showing us the run and gun sequence, you're not really controlling where the targets are. You're just raising them up or down. So shooting
Right. Yeah.
upward. And then this guy right here above the door, you can't shoot him, or you got to have like the extra power.
You hold it in, and
Right.
then you release. So then it gets.
And then I couldn't figure out how to pick up these power ups.
Yeah, you got to
crouch.
You got to do a little squat move, like
I don't know, man.
You're out in the forest going to the bathroom to pick that up.
Yeah, but I will say the game has 21 levels.
Wow. Okay.
Literally 21 levels. So this would be a game that I would probably have to rent multiple times and use that password system, as opposed to today's day where we, Russ knows save states.
Save states.
So what did we think?
Keeps like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe for the controls, like out of 5, maybe a 3. You said the music is great, is a fun game, but the controls,
Right?
Give it a 3.
I'm probably around this. I'm probably around the same. A 3. Banger music. The story's great. It's very in depth. Reminds you of like basically playing a cartoon. The graphics are great. It's a relatively fun game. It's just the controls throw it off. I just wish that it was, and also I don't want to say the difficulty, but the amount of enemies they throw at you. And I think that little meter is like you get 9 hits or something, which is better than Contra at least. So for that, I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
Sounds good. I think I'm right there with you guys. I wanted it to be like a 4, close to 5, like great concept for sure. Execution wise, maybe they just fell short. Maybe it's something that grows on you though. If you get used to the controls, you're playing it for a couple weeks and you're like, okay, I figured it out. So I'd say 3 across the board. It's not terrible.
No.
Certainly there are worse games for sure. Maybe just sitting down with this one a little bit more, you guys might enjoy it. We didn't get any comments on the socials because I figured most people probably never heard of this game or played
probably
it.
not, right?
So I mean, I do encourage you guys to seek it out and maybe give it a go once. If you had any interest in the show or the toy line, give this game a shot and maybe you'll be surprised. It's a little learning curve, but still pretty good game.
Definitely.
Next week, guys, we are not going to be playing a game. We are going to be renting another movie. And this time we're going to rent a movie celebrating its 35th anniversary. That is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles OG 1990 movie. So give it a watch this week. We'll post it on the socials. Let us know what you think. We'll talk about it next week. Now,
because all the movie quotes are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or what?
Maybe next week, not this week. We are getting into name that quote. Now we're getting into it.
Fair enough.
Roll it.
Hey, I bet you can't name that quote.
All right, guys. No theme this week.
All right. We're going themeless.
I will tell you that they are all 80s movies, though, but there's really no connection between them. Okay? You ready?
Here we go.
Nope.
Here we go.
Okay. First movie is from 1988. So put your thinking caps on and try to think about that time frame of what movies came out around that time. First one. Well, there's a million robots that turn into something. And this is a building that turns into a robot. So what's fun about playing with a building? That's not any fun.
I seen this clip while I was scrolling through one of the social media stuff, and I was like, yes. I know what it
Really?
is. I know what it is, but we'll see. Keith, any idea or no? Maybe when you hear the
Yeah, we should listen to it. Well, you guys listen to it. I'm gonna go check with Zoltar and see if he knows.
There's a million robots that turn into something. And this is a building that turned into a robot. What's fun about playing with a building? That's not any fun.
What is it, Keith?
Is the title Big? Is that what? Like, I know what movie it is. I just off the top of my head, the title is Big.
Big.
Seems like a odd title for a movie, but yeah.
What would you have described it as then?
Well, you can't use Grown Ups because Adam Sandler took that one.
And you can't use Freaky Friday either.
Can't use Freaky Friday, no.
You can't use, what's the other one?
I'm trying to think.
Oh, what's the one with
Oh,
I'm thinking of something else. Oh no, I'm thinking of another storyline. Never mind. Whatever.
Whatever.
Congratulations, you guys got it. I gave that 2 out of 5, so that was an easy one.
Perfect.
This one may be a little bit more difficult. I'm not sure. You guys ready? Here we go. This is from 1980. So we're throwing this back. This movie is as old as I am. Here we go. And I say, hey, Llama, hey, how about a little something, for the effort, And he says, there won't be any money. But when you die on your deathbed, you will receive total consciousness. So I got that going for me, which is nice.
Darn, I don't know this one.
Oh, you don't know that one. This one is
when
a
I hear
classic.
Yeah.
is this a cartoon? No,
it's not a cartoon. My uncle used to quote this movie religiously.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I have very fond memories of this specific quote because we have him on video, home video of him reciting the same quote while they're playing cards at Christmas time.
Oh, okay.
You want to play the quote?
And I say, hey, Llama, hey, how about a little something, for the effort, And he says, there won't be any money. But when you die on your deathbed, you will receive total consciousness. So I got that going for me.
Any ideas?
I almost want to say is it Bill Murray saying it? I feel
It
like
is
it's
Bill
early
Murray.
Bill Murray. Because
It is Bill
had
Murray.
just watched Caddyshack, and I feel like he has that same
Okay.
in that. So shoot, what else could it? What movies was he in? Keith had an epiphany. I heard a.
it's not What About Bob, is it?
No, it's not What About Bob.
Oh yeah, I think that's 90s, no? Or 80, 89 or something.
I think it's late 80s or early 90s. Yeah, for sure. Nothing, huh?
No, I'm stumped on this one.
Really?
We got the actor.
Are you really that stumped, Russ?
Did you say it already? I feel like did you say it already?
Russ literally said it.
Was it Caddyshack?
It's Caddyshack.
That's the direction I was going, and then Russ is like, "Oh, I just watched this," and I was like, "Well, then it's not that."
Nice.
That's great.
Throws me for a loop over there.
That might be the single best moment in Name That Quote history. Literally said it, but it's like, but I'm not sure what it is.
There we go. Wow.
All right. I will say you did not get that then. All right. Last one. We're going to 1986. You ready? If I could have only one food for the rest of my life, that's easy. Pez. Cherry flavored Pez. No question about it. Name that quote.
It's got to be a kid saying it. Who would choose that as a food? Better play it. Yeah, it's not placing me just saying that, but
if I can only have one food for the rest of my life, that's easy. Pez. Cherry flavored Pez. No question about it.
Keep sucking.
Drawing a blank, huh?
I feel like it's
Totally.
something from Home Alone or Home Alone 2, but I don't know if that's Macaulay Culkin.
No, it's not. Nope. Did I stump you guys?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've stumped you guys.
One more time.
If I can only have one food for the rest of my life, that's easy. Pez. Cherry flavored Pez. No question about it.
I'm trying to listen to the music in the background. It feels like it's like 50s style.
It kind of,
music.
yeah, it kind of dates it a little bit.
And
So this
movies
is
with kids
again
in it.
1986.
Nope, nothing's coming to
No,
mind.
man.
No.
Nope.
The mid 80s had all of those kid movies.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Those little groups of kids. Give up?
If it's what I
That
think
was-
it is, I'm gonna be upset.
That was well. What do you think it is?
No, because I'm
Yeah.
like the only thing I could think of was like Sandlot, but I'm like, no, that quote's not in there anywhere.
No, I mean, yeah, you're close. I mean, I guess you're close. I mean, it is a kids movie. That's as close as you get.
Never-ending story.
No, it's not a never-ending story. All right, so that was Jerry O'Connell, who played Vern in Stand By Me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, see with the music.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Have you guys seen that movie?
It's been a while, for sure.
You know what it is? Do you remember what the premise of that movie?
Doesn't someone die? Right?
Kiefer Sutherland is in that movie.
Okay.
River Phoenix is in that movie.
Yeah. Don't they
And
find a body or
also-
something?
Maybe that's what it was.
Yes, and then the kids went to go and look for the body in the woods.
Yeah.
And they just, and I guess they wanted, I don't know, I think they were like looking maybe for a reward or something. Not the kids, but like they were wanting to go and find them. And there's a whole story about that movie. But like, great soundtrack, kids movie. That's when they're sitting by the campfire. They tell the whole pie eating story. But anyway, Stand By Me. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It's a classic. But I'll give you guys 1 out of 3 this week.
Well, there we go. He
Wah,
brought the heat.
wah.
He brought
We
the
were
heat.
so close, Russ. We were
I
so
didn't
close
even
on
think
that
I was
second one.
I wasn't even trying to go that hard this week. That's the thing. I'll do the same mentality for next week. So whatever.
Is
Good
what it
job,
is.
guys.
Thank you. All right.
So what time is it, guys?
So we're skipping Rad and Bogus, and we're doing a vintage toy box episode this week. I'll just roll the intro, and then we'll chat about what we're chatting about.
Man, toys from back in the day were just awesome. We had the best time going to the store and picking one out and coming home and playing with it. Join us while we go back and give you a brief history, personal connection, pop culture impact, and value when we dive into the Vintage Toy Box.
Action figures each sold separately from Mattel.
Excellent. So we're diving into this week. Thought it makes sense. We're talking about Exo Squad. We had it for the Warp Pipe rental. So we want to discuss the cartoon that came out, the action figures. We already talked about the game, so we could briefly touch on that. But this was a show that I definitely remember coming home from school and watching religiously for sure. So to give you guys some quick facts about this show here. Exo Squad was an animated series created by Universal Cartoon Studios, and it aired from 93 to 94. Very short-lived. So, in and out, basically. It was inspired by Japanese animes like Mobile Suit Gundam, but tailored for that Western audience, for sure. Making it one of the most mature and ambitious cartoons of its time. The storyline definitely was heavy for like a kid's cartoon. I can remember that. So the story, it follows the Neo-Sapien War, where genetically engineered beings rebel against humanity. The human soldiers fought back in mechanized suits called E-frames. These were their mech suits that they would fight in. And who wouldn't want to be in a cool mech suit, right? It said, again, inspiration from like Gundam, probably even Voltron and all those, like hot with the kids and cartoons and everything. So I could see that being in here. So the toy line was released by Playmates, same company that did TMNT, launched alongside the show, and featured detailed action figures with articulated mech suits that actually fit the characters inside the suit. So I actually have one of those I picked up last year when I was at a toy convention there. So this is one of the mechanized suits here. And like it said, I don't have, unfortunately, the action figure, but he would sit right in there. And you'll be able to go around. Comes with different missiles and everything. Definitely looks awesome. Mech suits are where it's at. I love like anything robotic, like Transformers. So this looks awesome on the shelf with my other toys. And I'd love to find a couple more of those to add to the collection. And the line had heroes like JT Marsh. He was the leader for the humans, and villains like Phaeton, which that's what his mech suit was there. And they had massive vehicles and battle rigs. I can actually bring up some of these to show you guys. So this was the packaging here of the exosuit that I had, but they also had these big mech ones here, which look awesome. So many missiles and like turret guns. And just enjoy the packaging too. Is like nice and bright, and you see all the action going on the screen. Ripped straight from, you're watching the cartoon and you're like, oh, I want my favorite guy. This was the leader, JT Marsh of the humans here, and you can see the action figures are fairly small, maybe a little bit bigger than Mask, I would say, figures there, but they fit in the suit, a lot of parts, and they look awesome for sure. Let's jump back over to here.
Those are pretty cool.
You know what's interesting about that too is that you mentioned about Playmates doing the toy line.
Mm-hmm.
Is later in the Turtles line, they released turtles in mech suits. They were like these.
So I wonder.
Yeah, they were bigger figures that they would have because they would fit the actual turtle in it. Like
okay.
So they were bigger, and if you guys look that up when you can, Playmates, they made turtle mech toys as well.
Turtle mech.
So I wonder if that took a note from Exo Squad.
Possibly could have been, yeah.
Would make sense, right?
Right, for sure. Now, did any of you guys watch the show growing up at all? I don't know.
I did not. I feel like it was. I feel like it was past my. When was this? 93, 94?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
I feel like I was watching Ren and Stimpy then, and like kind of getting to the end of cartoons at that point.
Okay.
You start high school and then you start doing all that stuff. I played outside, used to play outside as kids. And I don't think I don't really have a lot of recollection of. I remember the game because it was on Sega Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
I played it, but I do remember seeing the box art. But I don't think I remember the toy line so much.
The toy line, or even the cartoon at all.
Cartoon. I don't know. Do we know what TV station this ran on? I mean, it was Play.
It was syndicated, right? So it would have been, who knows? I had like 4 channels growing up, right? So I definitely didn't have cable and definitely didn't see this. I do remember seeing the toys in a Sears Christmas wish book.
Oh yeah.
And thinking they looked really cool and being like, oh, that'd be cool to get. But I never did own one. But like seeing that one that you have, Russ, that's pretty cool looking. It would have been a lot of fun probably to take outside and run around with and have a couple of them shoot missiles at them and knock them off of the back of the tree fort. See,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they would go good with other action figures we were collecting up. Like again, if you had a transformer and
Yeah.
this, like you could fight each other and like all right,
Even
these
Mask,
match
like you
up.
mentioned.
Right. So
Like the
it's like
same
that
size as
crossover.
Mask.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I did watch the show growing up, and it, you know, it definitely had this deep story where so the Neo Sapiens, it says the humans create this race, the Neo Sapiens, who are like super smart and this and that, but they end up like exiling them and like putting them into like slavery, like
Yeah.
just like terrible stuff with them. So it ends up being this big space war against the two, and there is a Neo Sapien that's on the team with the humans, so you kind of feel like he's fighting his own kind out there, and he's like, you know, the humans are good, and he's trying to get the other people to believe in him. So it's this, I don't know, it always kept me on the edge of like what's going to happen in the next episode, you know, and I never finished the series. Maybe I did and didn't know because it only ran for 1 year, so maybe it just ended and they didn't get to complete the thing. But it was always so awesome to watch because of the scale of everything. Because you have the people in the you know the E frames, and they have to fit inside a big ship, so that ship looks huge, you know, when it pulls up, and then all the other E frames are coming out, and you're just blasting away, and it just looks so cool where each of them had their own unique like mech suit or E-frame. So like one of the guys was like bulky and slow, but he can like destroy stuff because his is like harder built or whatever. And then you have more agile one where he's faster and can go through waves of people quicker. So I was like, oh, that's always so neat how they break that down, and you get your favorite one thinking about that.
Here's something really interesting I just looked up. Season 1 had 13 episodes that ran from September 18th through December 11th. So October, November. So 3 months they had 13 episodes. Season 2, get this, they had 39 episodes that ran from September 29th to November 30th. 39 episodes in 2 months.
Just blasted them out.
And then that was it. And then that was the, it looks like, if you, because I'm Googling it, so I mean I'm reading it on the internet, so it has to be true.
Has to be true.
Is that episode 1 was on September 29th, episode 2 was on September 30th, and then October 3rd, October 4th, October 5th, October 6th, October 7th. They literally had an episode like every day. It was wild. Man. Yeah, so if you see the episode guide there, and then you can
I'm looking at it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's crazy. Like it
8.4
was
on IMDb,
promoted like pretty heavily, right? It never made, obviously, based on what we've seen with even folks not playing the game, and maybe we're the only 3 that have played it in the last 15 years. But like, so it had some really cool ideas, but it never did hit like that Transformers or G.I. Joe level of success. It does apparently have a fairly loyal fan base, and it's like, if we look at the commercials, I watched a couple of them before this just to kind of get a feel for them, and they're actually pretty cool looking, like commercials about these battle ready E-frames, which are the mechs we were talking about, right?
Yeah, right.
There's lots of lasers and 90s lighting happening, kind of pretty cool stuff. And so the line, like Russ was talking about, did include human characters, these Neo Sapien characters, and these great big mechs that we kind of saw and see here. I like that they had like that almost computer generated look to like some of these commercials, right? So it did actually have, like you're talking about, David, it only ran for 52 episodes, but like you're saying, a lot of them were the last half over those 2 seasons, and that toy line just never never
Wow.
took off quite like some of those other ones we would have seen, right? I
It
feel there's a
seems
lot of toy lines that
surprising.
did that, right?
That's why I'm like, they had everything going for it, right? Good
Yeah.
cartoon, and they're like, all right, we got the toys for it. Like, let's
Mhm.
do the game. That's what everyone else is doing. And I feel like boys would see this, and if you played with Transformers or GoBots or Mask or any of those there, Inhumans, like it's all similar.
Yeah.
Maybe,
And
maybe they, I don't know.
Playmates does really well with toys too. I mean, they obviously, you know, that they did Turtles, but they also did Toxic Crusaders. They did the Dick Tracy toys, and those were really fun lines
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
play and collect
colorful,
for. Yeah.
good packaging, like great
Right.
size wise. Like,
Mhm.
man, Exo
Just
Squad, come
just
on.
missed the boat. Yeah.
Just
It's
missed the
Right.
boat.
wild.
Were they
What are the prices you think, Dave, for some of these?
So,
Stuff?
well, so Russ, you have just the one in your collection,
Yeah, just the one there.
and then that's only one of the E-frames, right?
Yeah, I don't have
Like you don't
the
have
guy
it.
that goes in it, unfortunately,
Right, right,
and
right.
he's missing some missiles.
So today, just the E-frames alone, like without the figures, they could run anywhere between 20 to $50. I guess depending on the size or the character themselves. Boxed ones or rare figures obviously are going to go for a lot more. Uh, I'm headed to Chicago next week, so maybe I'll be on the lookout for some at the Chicago Toy Show because I'm sure there's 1,000 vendors. I'm sure somebody's going to have some kind of
for
Exo
sure?
Squad.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it'll be definitely cool to like see, and I'll report back to you guys in a couple weeks to see if I found anything. The show was remembered from what is it? It was. I'm trying to read here. Getting all flustered.
Words.
Yes, words are fun. The show's remembered fondly by the animation fans and toy collectors alike for being one of the first Western cartoons to take audiences seriously. I feel like what's that one show that kind of does that now with the Western? Is that oh, what is it? Cowboy
Cowboy
Bebop?
Bebop.
Is that what it is? Isn't that kind of like a is that a Western thing, like an anime thing?
Well, that
I
are
want
you
to
thinking
say
like Western, like cowboy, or like?
I don't know.
Are we
I
talking
don't
like
know. Like
Cowboys of Moo Mesa here?
maybe I'm talking about Cowboys of Moo Mesa. Let's strike that from the record. There's been calls for a revival. So far, it just remains like a cult classic. But it'd be really interesting because Russ made that comment about how it kind of relates to mask figures, and the loyal subjects are re-releasing mask figures next year.
I
They just
did see
announced at
that. I
Toy
was like,
Fair. Yeah,
wow. So it's like, I mean, you have the collectors out there
right.
that like this, and to re-release like a more, even maybe a little bit bigger size figure, because this is probably, gee,
Got
I don't
6
know,
inches.
like 6-7 inches maybe is the mech.
Yeah.
You can go like, dude, release like a 12-inch figure, like go big,
Oh,
and you just
I think the Turtles one were probably about 12-inch.
yeah.
It's funny though because we're talking about pricing for the Exo Squad when in relation to that the size of the mask figures they're very similar. Mask, a lot of collectors go for them, but they're not very expensive.
Okay.
So you could find boxed mask figures for sometimes $20 to $30. Like, and I'm talking about the vehicles as well. So
Oh wow.
they're
Okay.
not expensive, which is weird because you would think like Mask has more of a following than Exo Squad, but
Right.
Yeah.
because of that cult following, maybe it just boosts the prices up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I mean the art style is great. I almost wonder if Playmates, you know, it's funny because today I actually went out and at Target they had a half-priced pizza thrower, for the Ninja Turtle line.
Yeah.
So Kylie's been really into my turtles lately, and she's been playing with my my old sewer playset and all of my figures. So I took her out toy hunting today, I saw the pizza thrower. It was half price. It was like $20. And I was like, you know what? She's on vacation this week.
Mm-hmm.
We got Easter coming up. I was like, let's do a little vacation present, you know? She's in kindergarten, you know, let's do something fun. So we bought the pizza thrower, and I feel like, Russ, you handling those figures,
Mm-hmm.
Playmates put out that pizza thrower, and it's much more like bulky and like got a little bit more weight. And those I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong because I don't have them in my hand, but it seems like it's a little flimsy. Like the plastic, is it kind of like,
No,
or is
I
it
mean
just
it's got some good like clicking when you're moving the
it
arms
does?
here,
Okay.
like for positioning. So he's not, whatever you want, like for position wise for display or whatever. And he stands fairly good because of the articulation and everything.
Yeah.
You just have him sitting there, so not too bad.
Unlike the video game that does not have it's very very fluent in the guns.
Very limited articulation.
Yes.
I-
The video games.
I was looking here because again, I only have the early releases here. So Series 1 had four the E-frames released, and Series 2 gave you another 4. But then I don't think I remember anything past that, because those are like the main ones in the cartoon series, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So like scrolling down here, I don't even remember like the Exo Fighter Kaz Takaki here of like the planes, this Exo Carrier, and then even these Jump Troopers. I was like, I've never seen any of these like anywhere on display.
I wonder if they had a collector's case that you can carry the figures in, like most of those toy lines.
Oh, maybe.
Because of the size of those, I feel like that would be an easy thing to do for those.
So it
I'll have
also
to
looks
look.
like with like Series 4, it's almost like a re-release where you have JT Marsh again, Wolf, like the
Mhm.
main guys, but they did like deep space, all terrain
Yeah.
version, subterranean.
Series 5, Medieval Knight,
Right. It's
Yeah.
like
Gorilla.
Gorilla.
So Playmates took after the concept of the Ninja Turtles. They were basically just throwing different, skins on them
Mm-hmm.
to make more money. Like I said, we went toy hunting today and we were looking at Ninja Turtles. So many different like the rock and roll turtles. There was the cartoon turtles. There were, we'll save that for another vintage toy box because the Turtles line is just massive.
Yeah. So it seems like towards the end of the toy line there, they were just kind of, like you said, throwing whatever to see what sticks and what sells. And
Yeah.
It seems like from your scrolling, it seems like it's a fairly easy line to maybe complete if you're a collector.
Right, because it seems Series 1 had 4 figures. And then
Right.
this light attack, you had like 2 of these vehicle type things. And then Series 2, again, 4. Series 3, 4. The Jump Troopers was the most with 6 guys that came out.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And
So
they look like they were just blister pack, like solo.
They were,
little figures,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, the way they
So-
were packaged, just little blister pack with 2 weapons in it.
Very cool.
So Exo Squad. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. Now you did. Maybe check out the game. Maybe see some toys. I was hoping to maybe pick up another one of these. I was at Game On Expo in Arizona, and not one booth had any Exo Squad toys. So maybe Dave will have better luck at the convention he's going to.
Did you happen to see any of the game though? Did you look for the game?
I don't think I would have probably noticed it, but I wasn't looking for it. Like I probably, if it would have been out, I would have been like, oh, Exo Squad, that's right. But I didn't notice it at the show either.
Well, I'll definitely look and I'll take some pictures if I see anything. Check out the pricing on what it is, because I haven't looked any on eBay, so I'm wondering what a toy show. I'm sure I'm going to find something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, final take on Exo Squad. It was definitely ahead of its time, both in storytelling and in toy design. Definitely deserves a comeback, for sure. So maybe we'll see something in the future. Who knows? If you guys have any fond memories of the line, we'd love to hear them. So leave us a comment on that. And who knows what the next vintage toy box shall be. Leave a comment what you want to hear. I don't know. We could do Ninja Turtles. We could do, what was the other ones I was thinking? Inhumans. It's another good one. There's a whole bunch of toy lines. We'll get to them eventually. Heck yeah. All right, guys. Hey, before we get into our main topic, we're going to take a quick commercial break and hear from our sponsors, and then we'll dive into the gaming industry. What's happening with it? I don't know. We'll be right back, guys.
Think of all the mature, responsible things you could be doing. Helping old ladies cross the street, proudly maintaining your yard, hanging with your folks, or cleaning your room. But get real. You'd rather be playing video games. You can rent them from Blockbuster. They've got more of the coolest new Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis games for rent than anyone in the world. So dudes, why not get your games at Blockbuster? It's the mature thing to do.
Hey guys, did you know that we're offering channel memberships to help support the show? $1 gets you early access to videos, loyalty badge, and custom emojis. $3 gets you members only live streams, shout outs, and the Warp Pipe rental employee package. That's going to include a custom sticker, button, and membership card. With the Warp Pipe rental employee card, you'll be able to choose rentals for us to do on the show, including movies and video games. And during our once a month live stream, you guys will be able to chat with us while we're recording the episode. So consider signing up today to support the show and jump in the Warp Pipe with us every Saturday at 9 a.m.
All right. Back at it.
It's out there.
Big things were coming.
Big things are coming. Sign up for channel memberships today, everyone. Pins will be here, so we'll have the pins ready. We're working on the cards, so we'll get those ready. If anyone wants to sign up for the $3 tier, you get all those goodies, and we can send them out to you.
And these stickers are sweet.
Yeah.
They're very nice.
Perfect. All right, main topic, Dave. Main topic.
Yes. So this week we talked about the Switch last week and how, you know, the whole tariff thing and the prices are up. There was a delay on the pre-orders for it. So it got us thinking, is the video game industry in trouble right now? So let's dive into it. What do you think, guys?
No. End of episode.
Done.
I feel like they're definitely trying new things with the ever-changing market, right? We're definitely going into that digital age with less media. You see it at stores, Blockbuster Video because of the commercial. Best Buy is like no DVDs, getting rid of games. Like they're just selling TVs and washer and dryers and all that. And we didn't even discuss with the Switch. Someone had brought up with, I think the new games, it's almost the game cartridge is almost like an access key to the game. I heard almost. So it's like
somebody else mentioned that to me too.
Where you have to, you don't like own the game almost. You're just getting permission to download the game and then play it. And I'm like, where is that going?
I mean, is that now again, guys? I don't have a PlayStation 5 or Xbox or anything like that. So answer me this question. You guys put those discs in the system and it installs it, correct?
Yeah.
How much of the game actually goes on the system versus like you're still using the disc though, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So is this going to be
I think
similar to that?
You think what?
I think the whole game is on, like you put your disc in and you're downloading the game from the disc or however you're doing it. And it'll be like, oh, it's, this many gigs of space.
Right.
So
but you need the disc to play it, correct?
You do, unless you purchase the online version of it, which is just downloads
right
from
directly
the
to your console
or whatever, right? Directly right to the console.
Right.
otherwise you need to put the disc in for it to play it. But that's almost just like you're saying, like your access key to it, right? Because
Right.
I think that most of it's on your hard drive
Well,
already.
because the issue that I see this happening is if this is the case, and listen, people can correct us if we're wrong in the comments, but this is just by going over the knowledge of what we currently have, with the research given, is if this is the case, does this mean that you need to be connected to the internet to play it? Like, are
Maybe
you
just that.
downloading something?
Maybe that's that one time, like your initial in. Now it's on the system. Now you're good to go. You wouldn't be able to
get any
like
updates, right?
So
Right.
it registers it with
Yeah.
Nintendo that you own this game.
Right.
Then if that's the case, what would happen if you try to sell that to GameStop or something like that? Like, and somebody would put that cartridge in their system. Would there be like a serial number that?
Well, there has to be some internal key that the cartridge
Right.
knows that will communicate with wherever it's going.
But like,
Right.
if it's a disc-based game, like an Xbox game, I think you could just go buy it at GameStop, and it'll just still download the game on there. You'll just need to sign in with your account to be able to get any updates or even some of the stuff in the game, or even to be able to play the game. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't tried to play some of these games without any online access nowadays.
Right. I mean, the only
Right.
reason I bring this up is I feel like this is where game companies are probably headed if to go more digital, because then it's less production costs. You don't have to ship these games out. And so they're going to save a ton of money if everything's just digital for the future. I mean, they already have, you can buy a PlayStation 5 that is digital only. It doesn't even have a
Right.
disc drive in it. So then you're saving costs on that console essentially, because it has less moving parts in it. So they could be headed towards that route, because I feel like us want the physical stuff, but the kids nowadays, they don't care. It's just like download whatever.
The one thing that is annoying with the Switch that I will say that I don't know, Russ, how last time you kind of fired it up and whatnot, but it seems like every time you start a game, it tries connecting to something saying like, "Oh, this game is checking to see if you can actually play it."
Oh,
I don't know if
okay.
you've seen that.
I don't think I experienced that. I know
Yeah.
I did turn auto updates off when I was playing Tears of the Kingdom, because I was
Okay.
exploiting a glitch and I didn't want to update where they got rid of the
Oh,
glitch.
right. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know if that has, but I know that there's games I'll turn on and it'll be like, "Oh, checking to see if this game can be played." And I'm like, "What do you mean? I put the cartridge in there. Of course it." And that kind of makes me worried about. That's the thing about the Switch too, is like, because it's on the go, if you there's some games that are online only, so you can only play it when you're online. So when it says that, it's like connecting to the internet. I'll have to do some more research on it. I'm not going to waste too much time on it, but that's just one thing that I noticed about the Switch lately, that they've been going more towards like that online play. So I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe somebody could leave a comment and let us know what their experiences are loading up games on the Switch. That's just been mine recently. So
I guess kind of sounds like all of our knee jerk on is the video game industry in trouble right now comes to physical media, digital media thing, right? Is kind of where we all start off with when we are thinking about that. Because we're physical media people, because of
Right, we grew up with
growing up
that
with
cartridge
it
and been
and
physically
understanding it,
grabbing
right?
Right.
So I mean, like we're talking about, are the Nintendo Switch cartridges just keys to get us into the game? Is that how these Xbox and PlayStation discs are operating for us? Is everything going to be online at some point? I guess they're saving money. We're still paying the same amount for the games, digital or physical, for a lot of it, from us to get these collector's editions and stuff like that, obviously. So they're probably making more money selling us online games. But
right, in that
some of
case,
these
then they're
games,
not in trouble.
no.
Right.
But
If you look at it that way, yeah, they're making more money.
when we get games that come out like what was the one that came out that was just not finished, and Cyberpunk had all this hype, and then it comes out and they've rushed it, and it's digital anyways, and they can just update it as they go. It comes out and gets no one playing it.
Right.
And then they've updated it, and it's probably a very playable game. I think it is a pretty good game when it's updated and fixed, but
day one it was not.
No, so that puts us back into that are they in trouble range, right? Like,
yeah.
I feel like it's a slippery slope. Or you really start to dig into it for long-term stuff, right? Because all it's going to take is one company to shut down a fully online service when the time comes,
right.
and all the people that own those games are up in arms.
Yeah, you're essentially renting the game.
Really are, right?
Yeah, because games like Mario 35, when that came out for the Switch, they ended that service. Mario Maker, you can't play Mario Maker 1 anymore because
Really?
they shut the servers down. Now you can only play Mario Maker 2. And so anybody that pops Mario Maker 1 in there, they can't even play it.
Right.
So I spent $60 on that game, and I can't even play it anymore.
Which I think if more of that continues to happen, which seems to be the trend, and I think the concern for us folks that are those physical media people,
right?
I worry that as that trend continues, they might not be in trouble right now, but if they start to get maybe a little too big for their britches and start to think that they can just shut these services off and people will just buy Breath of the Wild for the third time on the Switch 2. And
what are you trying to say, Keith?
With better graphics.
What are you trying to say, Keith?
The graphics
I'm going to buy all the copies.
Greener. I know you are. But right? Like if they shut the servers down for the Wii U, if the Wii U is like, I don't know, in theory, if they were shut the servers down, then you couldn't play it anymore. You can't play Mario Maker 1 on that right now, right? You're saying.
Well, you can't play
that's off.
Now wait a minute. Was Mario Maker 1 also
I had it on the Wii U.
Right, Wii U. The Switch had Mario Maker 2.
They did not re-release it on the Switch. Okay.
So,
I know that the eShop closed down.
Right?
On the Wii U, they closed that down. Yep. So in order to get those games, you had to use up all your money too.
Yeah.
So
how many
you
times
left money in there
before that starts to really affect the consumer, right? And then at what point is the consumer going to be like, and I'm kind of done with this?
Well, I was going to say, speaking of money, good transition of monetization fatigue. All these microtransactions in games, signing up for battle passes, pay to win models. Like, I don't want to play the game. I'll just pay extra $70 to get all the guns and and then just go in and dominate. Like, are longtime gamers getting turned off from this? Like, are they just going to get sick of this? Like, with companies just trying to get every little penny out of you for these games to play?
And
it's like
we even
Fortnite,
see that I play, like we've talked before, I play a lot of Red Dead Online, and there was these outlaw passes, they'd call them, and you'd get all these cool outfits and these limited time things. It was only there for a month, and you had to play through it and level up and you got this trench coat and this gun skin and then this, and then they kind of start not supporting the game anymore, and then they're just re-releasing those over and over and over and over again. So the people that thought they were getting something that was limited time, now I could get that anytime I want. So I spent the money on it at the time to
get it up front,
limited stuff, and now it's just you just get it whenever you want now. So
Yeah.
as a consumer, you're like, okay, well, I'm not doing that twice. So how many times before they really start to get in trouble, right?
Unless it's Tears of the Kingdom, then I'll just throw money at them.
And then you're just gonna
all day
just
long.
That's it.
Switch
Well,
free.
So,
Breath of the Wild.
we talk a lot about the Switch. Maybe because we talked about it last week, but a lot of issues that I brought up about the Switch. Do you guys have any issues with how PlayStation or even Xbox does their work? Like how they put their games out or anything like that? Like when you're playing, do you have to do the online stuff all the time?
Not in the games I'm playing. I will say I definitely favor the sales that PlayStation has opposed to Switch. I feel like on the Switch games, their first party games are like, oh, Mario's on sale. It's $55 instead of 60. Where on PlayStation you can get some games that are like AAA titles for like $10 or like I'm like, oh wow, like
free on
sometimes
Xbox
free
for some stuff, right? Like I mean, you're not free if you need to have the online store or whatever you've signed up.
Right. PlayStation Plus for PlayStation and then
Plus or Xbox,
whatever.
Yeah.
Season
but then
pass.
You're like, this game is free. I can play this game for months for free.
Right, because Nintendo doesn't have any equivalent to that. You're just, you're paying for the online, and you get the Nintendo games, Super Nintendo, and 64, and all that. But you're not getting like the newest Mario game to be able to play, or like Smash Brother, or like whatever some AAA title with that. Whereas on PlayStation, it's like I get a big list, and it's like, all right, you can play whatever the Uncharted series, the new God of War, like da.
And they might not be free forever. Like eventually, if you want to keep playing it, you might have to buy it down the road. But there's lots of times that they'll be on there just to play, right?
But that's a smart model because they let you basically like rent the game before you buy it, and then if you enjoy it, you're going to spend the money on purchasing it, right?
Right.
But now the thing with Switch that Russ brought up is the Nintendo Online, where they have the old consoles. You got the GameCube's coming out. They have Super Nintendo. They have Nintendo. They have Sega Genesis. They have Game Boy Advance. They have all these systems on there, right? That you can play those games. Only downside is Switch is on the go, right? You need an internet connection to play those.
Yeah.
So unless you tether your phone service with it, you're not playing those on an airplane or, on the road when you're going somewhere. You cannot download them.
Really?
No, it has to be connected to the internet in order to play it. And that's the other thing too, because here's the other one. Mario Kart 8, they have downloadable content, right? That you could download tracks and racers to your system.
Okay.
They also offer it with like your Premier membership. Problem with that. What does it need to do to know if you're a member? You need to connect to the internet.
Sign in,
So now you can't play Mario Kart when you're on a plane, or you can't play those levels, I should say. But like, you know what I mean? Like the ones that you are subscribed to. But if you downloaded them and paid the money to download them, you technically own them. So it's kind of like sometimes Nintendo, they do questionable things, but I don't know, man.
I feel like the stumbles like that, not being able to download Mario 3, which in the grand scheme of things is probably like this big to download that on the Switch, to be able to play it on your flight from here to there. I feel like that's a stumble, right?
Well, the problem is that in order for them to know that you can play that game is that you have the service. So if your service, if you cancel your service, your game is still on your system. You can't, and that's why it's always continuously trying to connect to the internet for you to know it, for Nintendo to know if you could play that game or not. So it's just, I don't know. That's the one thing. And obviously we don't have that issue with PlayStation and Xbox because you can't take them on the go. Right.
But I don't think it
Essentially.
checks. Like, I think you download your free game to the system, and then I don't think you need to connect to the internet to play it.
But does it expire after a certain time?
Right. If you cancel your membership, then maybe you would try to play it, and maybe you would get revoked access. I forget if I downloaded any game and then canceled. Do I still have access to that? I can't.
But which means it's probably because your system is already connected to the internet, so it could read that. But if you're on an airplane,
right,
it can't connect to verify that you own that game.
And there is portable versions of, off the top of my head, I can't think of which one, but there is a portable version of PlayStation or Xbox, and it basically you
the
turn it
backbone.
on, and it connects to your Xbox or PlayStation at
From home. Yes,
and then you're playing it remotely from your system there. But again, you still need. It's not a Game Boy. I'm putting it in and rocking and rolling Metroid Zero mission at work, right?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that because my friend D-Mac just went on a trip this week, and he put a poll out there about like, oh, what systems are you bringing with them? Like, I'm bringing my Switch. I'm bringing my Superboy. Like, he's bringing like the handheld with cartridges, and it made me think. And I'm like, oh wow, like that makes sense because he can't play Super Nintendo on the plane because he won't have internet access. So he's bringing his Superboy with actual cartridges that he's putting in the system to play on the plane. Wild times.
Which again brings us like the downloads too, right? Like you were saying, Russ, you shut off the auto updates or
right.
Stuff, right? Like that's the one thing I find is I have auto updates shut off for most of my stuff too, because otherwise it's just eating my internet data, right? Like continually updating. You've got games like these Call of Duties and stuff like that, where those updates are a whole game worth.
Right.
Every 2 weeks. So the updates kill it for me too, where I go to try to play a game and I'm like, oh, sorry guys, I guess we're not playing this tonight because it's got a 40 gig update it needs to do. When
jeez,
I could leave it. I could leave that on, but
right.
Again, then you're sacrificing. Maybe I won't have internet. A lot of stuff's unlimited now, but there was a time when it was. So then it leads you back to just wanting to maybe just play some of those old games that you like. I'm not going to buy a new game. I'll just play the old ones.
Well, one thing that I like about the Switch, the Switch, what I really like is, Russ made a mention about how those first party games, they like barely ever go on sale, right? Like you never see a dramatic price drop in those first party games. And because of that, I find myself going on the eShop a lot and looking at like the $1 to $10 games by other independent releases, so it really helps me with finding out of these like lesser known game companies putting out these smaller size games. They're really good games, so I end up buying a ton of those. And I think, Russ, you might have had a series on that at one time where you would like spend $10 and be like, what kind of cool games could we get or something like that, and you find some really good stuff on there. And I think, that being said, I don't think the video game industry itself is in trouble because they're always going to be making games.
Right.
But the fact that like it's going to deter us with all of these changes. I mean, granted, Russ made the comment about how like nowadays people are going to download things and they don't want the physical copies, and attention spans are a lot slower now, right? Or a lot lower rather. And so because of that, I think they're going to be okay with that, the younger generation. But like for us, we're just getting fed up. We're like, give us our physical cartridges. Let me pop it in the system. Let me just play it.
So
we're just getting to be grumpy old men.
Right. So like I don't think they're in trouble. Like you said right at the start, Russ, like, no, they're not, right? Because they're always going to have a new generation that is wanting to play those games, and they're used to that way of playing.
Right.
For us older generations, maybe all the things we've talked about here are the reason why it's in trouble for us. The newer games, the brand new games, we might be less inclined because of, price, not complete games, not being able to play them how we want to play them, when we want to play them, stuff like that. But there's always that new market for them to tap into to get to, so they are fine. Maybe the AAA publishers might not be as fine as these smaller ones we're talking about here too, right? Because these smaller companies can produce these really cool games.
As
and
I
the
say,
big
make a
guys
good
are
point of like
bringing out
how much money the AAA companies are pumping into these games, and then
right.
are they going to see that return? Because it could cost
Look at Cyberpunk, right?
millions of dollars produce the amount of staff that they have, and then you got all these layoffs after if your game doesn't hit right, you're gonna like, well, there's no sequel, all these layoffs. So it's almost like these indie companies that are a small group of guys putting the game together are thriving a lot better than the big industry itself. And you almost see, right, there's so many remakes or remasters coming out because that almost makes it a sure thing. It was popular in the past, so we can put a new skin or something on this, re-release this. We know the old fans are going to buy it. Maybe you'll get the attention of some new fans as well, rather than taking that chance on like a new IP, a new idea where they're like, I don't know if it's going to hit as much. And if they take that chance and it bombs, it's like, then what do you do? Maybe the company has to close, or they're going to have to do something to make up that loss, where with the indie people, they have less to lose. I would almost say they could take those chances. Right.
Right. We're just old men that's set in our ways. We want our games. We want to go back to Service Merchandise or Circuit City, buy our game off the shelf, go home, pop it in the system, play it, and then 40 years later have the same experience with taking it off the shelf, popping it in the system, and working as it always does.
Well,
we're nostalgia based. We're nostalgia based.
And again, like we talked about, if they're shutting stuff off, I'll be sad if I can't play a game that I bought now. And in 15 years, 20 years, if I'm still around and still able to play games, and I want to be like, or even the kids nowadays, right? So say you got an 18-year-old that buys a brand new AAA title game, loves it, has fond memories of playing it with his dad or his mom or whatever. And 20 years from now, it's like, I want to play that again. You can't experience that because the servers are shut off. That company folded, got bought up by someone else. Like, that person's not going to be able to have that nostalgia that we're getting to experience.
Not even 20 years later. It could be like 3 years later.
Exactly. It just won't be there.
You could have bought Mario Maker 1 not knowing that like the following year it was going to get shut down. And now there's just like, you go to all the retro game stores, they have, Mario Maker 1 sitting on the shelf. And who's buying it? Unless you're collecting it.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I have it's over there. I have a sealed in box Mario Maker 1 Wii U set. And I'm sure that price probably dropped a little bit once Mario Maker servers got shut down.
Yeah. Could be.
I may have cried a little bit when Mario 35 like shut off, because that game was, I don't know if you guys played that game, but that game was incredible. It was a battle royale Mario game. Insane.
Well, let's see what the viewers had to say about this here. We reached out to you guys on our social medias. You can follow us on Instagram, YouTube on the community page and leave a comment here.
What did you say? What did you say?
Springfield, let's hear from you.
Over on Instagram, we got Ty's Gaming and Collection says, in its current state, it is definitely not in trouble. The video game industry brings in more money than the movie and music industries. As gaming prices increase, this is not because the industry is struggling, but a rather push on more company profit. In my opinion, there is more of a shift from AAA game studios to solo developers or smaller indie developers who are going to have a smaller overhead costs and able to put out product at a lower price. AAA studios have to please shareholders, while indie developers typically do not, or the bar is set lower. The bigger issue will come when a gaming service such as Steam was to go bankrupt and all your video games you have are now gone. That's when the gaming industry, I believe, will really be in trouble. Manny's Arcade jumps in and says, we don't need new games. We have plenty of great games to last us a lifetime.
Absolutely, Manny. You're totally right.
Just sticking with all the retro stuff. Plenty of stuff to play for sure. And then over on our YouTube page, we had a few comments as well. Another bald nerd said, I think the video game industry as a whole has been in trouble for a while, with studios being bought up and shut down, to layoffs, now tariffs. Who knows what's in store for the future? I don't think video games are going anywhere, but companies are going to have to stay current and adapt if they want to survive in the industry. With that said, I feel like the indie game scene has been flourishing and could continue to grow. There are so many great indie games out there and more to come out daily, it seems. Indie games are also more likely to get released cross platforms too, opening up players on Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Not to mention, they're generally more affordable than AAA games. My buddy Colby, Purge and Splurge Thriftin, says, the pricing is definitely going to be an issue for people. The console price is probably not the issue, but more the individual games. Hearing they would be in the $80 range made me think back when Nintendo 64 dropped games when they were $60 to $70. It was insane then. I remember my parents telling me if I want Zelda Ocarina of Time for my birthday, that was my big gift and likely it. That was a lot of money to spend on a video game almost 30 years ago. Whoa, guys, the thought that Nintendo 64 dropped almost 30 years ago might be even more insane. Cheers. Yeah, so that's, again, we covered last week was the Nintendo Switch 2 we're talking about, and it's like that price point a lot of people were just upset about. So is Nintendo going to see the return that they're hoping for with a now more pricier console, more pricier games? Because Nintendo always seemed to be that budget friendly when compared to PlayStation and Xbox, what they had going on. So they're, parents are like, well, we'll get the Nintendo. It's $200 less than a PS3, PS4, whatever console there. But now it's like, man, it's almost as much as these newer ones. Can we afford it? Are they going to see the return? I don't know if they're going to have as many sales as the original Switch, right? Who knows?
Well, I guess the question is the video game industry getting greedy? Would that be a question?
That could be true. Yeah. Are they in trouble? Maybe not so much. Are they getting greedy? And then that will result them being in trouble, possibly.
Yeah.
I could see that coming in the near future for sure. Yeah, some good points for sure we made. Any closing thoughts on this? I think we kind of wrapped up that.
Yeah, I think we'll have to see with this whole tariff thing. I did see an article where I don't think it's going to affect the cost of the Switch. And now I think what they had announced is that the Switch was going to, just to follow up from last week, the Switch is going to be sending emails out for pre-order. And I guess they're going to look at I think they're looking at playtime on your accounts or something to open it up to pre-order through Nintendo. It's kind of, there's not a whole lot of information I haven't seen just yet, but the release date still hasn't changed. It's still June 5th, I believe. So we're getting very close. So I don't know when they're going to start these pre-orders, but I think they're trying to, which is confusing. They're trying to cut down on the bots. And so they're rolling out this other stuff, which I don't know, guys. I just feel like all this stuff should have been planned out ahead of time before they did the whole direct thing and then announced the release date, because we already knew about tariffs then. I mean, sure, it might have amped up a little bit, but like we all knew it was coming. So
fair enough. Hey, if you guys want to call into the show, we do have a phone number that is 949-682-9277. 949-682-WARP. You can leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the show just like this.
I keep dreaming about my dream phone.
It's for you.
What's up, my weekly Warp Pipers? It's your buddy NES Addict. First off, I'm sorry for not leaving a message last week. I actually did leave one, but I left it too late and Russ wasn't able to get it. My apologies. I'm sorry to ruin that streak. Second off, is the gaming industry in trouble? I am uncertain about that. I think it's to be seen in the future. That's obviously the easy answer. I don't know. The Switch 2 might do some cool things. I'm personally not going to be getting it on launch because there's not enough games to support it currently that I'm super excited about. And I don't think it's that big of an upgrade over the regular Switch to make me want to make the jump to play Breath of the Wild, which took me like 5 years to get through anyway. All that to say, do yourself a favor and listen to Mike and the Mechanics' Silent Running. It's a great song. All right, guys, have a great week. Take care.
Hang on, I'm writing that down. What is
Thanks,
it,
Jay.
Mike and the Mechanics?
Yeah. That's Jay's suggestion of song you should listen to.
Okay. Write it down.
Perfect.
Got you, Jay.
We got one more voicemail.
Hello, Russ. It's Adam Gabbard.
Hey, Adam.
I'm hoping you are doing okay. My question is, have you ever played Dick Tracy for NES? It's a very fun crime-fighting game to answer clues. That's all I wanted to know, if you consider playing that. I'll see you later. Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, Dick Tracy. I played it maybe a few times. Certainly with those clue-based games, you know, you get confused on where to go, right? I was just playing, I literally was just live streaming Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which I feel is almost similar to the Dick Tracy, because you're also solving a mystery and it has you're entering buildings, searching stuff, and then there's like an overworld, and it's like, where do I go? Like, what do I do? I feel like playing those games as a kid, you just kind of wandered around a lot and just be like, cool, like I'm Dick Tracy, enjoyed the movie and played with the action figures and stuff.
Right.
But I wish it was more either just give us a simple platformer or like a beat 'em up, just something simple. I will say though, Dick Tracy on the Sega Genesis, different style game, actually pretty fun. Yeah, that plays as like a shooter beat 'em up style game.
Interesting.
Whereas with Nintendo, they leaned into him being a detective, which is neat. It gives you both options on how you want to have your Dick Tracy experience. Maybe with a strategy guide of some sorts, of like a walkthrough, be able to complete the game a little bit. But certainly fun. I love the box art on it, that bright yellow silhouette and everything.
Did they have the Sega Genesis version also on Super Nintendo, or was this solely a Genesis version?
Just the Genesis version, yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to check
The
that
driving in the Nintendo version is a little tough, right? There's so many guys coming at you, shooting at you.
Right.
It comes from like the buildings and everything at you, right?
Right. You get like the snipers up in the buildings.
Yeah. Looks like
And was that the game too? Like if you got hit or something, you like really got bounced backwards? Like there was like a hit, like like in Ninja Gaiden when you get hit, it bounces back.
Bounce back.
I feel like you got ridiculously bounced back on Dick Tracy. I could be wrong, but I think I remember that from that game. Or maybe that was Roger Rabbit. Was it Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, I got into a little bit of fights here and
Maybe
there.
it was.
I mean, it does.
I feel like the sprites are similar in Roger Rabbit and Dick Tracy a little bit.
For Roger Rabbit, you're just slapping the guy charging up to slap him.
How far did you get, by the way?
I got pretty far, honestly, but I was using shout out to my buddy 8-Bit Steve. He's putting together a strategy guide for it. He's done a few with Fester's Quest and Friday the 13th and a few other, and the guides are called The Easy Way. And he's doing one for Roger Rabbit, and I'm kind of like a play tester, right? To use the guide to see if anything doesn't line up so I can let him know before the guides get printed. So I just had a PDF of the guide, and it's really nicely done, like breaks down everything, enemies, items, maps, and then it gets to a section and it gives you step by step with the game. Go to this building, collect this item. If the item isn't there, go to step 3 and and so there's, I think, 54 steps, and I got to 24, 25 step. And it's
I think I have his. Did he do a Mike Tyson's Punch Out?
Yes. Yep. So
I think I have that one.
Yeah,
they're great guides. What could you shout his name out again?
Yeah, it's 8-Bit Steve, and if you just look up The Easy Way is basically the name of the guides. And I'm in the Friday the 13th guide. I think dressed up as my NES Jason, but it's great to be.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was just say it's great to be working with them on the new stuff for sure.
That's very cool. And the name of the book is not at all inspired by Back to the Future.
You want to do this the easy way or the hard way?
The easy way.
Classic. Sweet. Hey, thanks for the questions, guys. Again, if you want to call into the show, you can save the phone number in your phone. I find that to be easiest. And then you could just pop it up if a question comes to head. And you can leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the show. 949-682-9277. To do a recap, guys, for the Warp Pipe rental this week, we're going to be renting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original movie. Grab a VHS copy, grab a DVD, grab the Blu-ray. Give it a watch. Certainly a classic one for sure.
I do own this. I wish I had it with me to show you, but I'll show next week on the podcast. I have a Blu-ray that's like it's weird. It's like a smell version or something.
Oh yeah, smell-o-vision.
It's like a smell-o-vision thing. It's so weird. I'll bring it next week to the episode and show you guys. But it's wild. I bought it just because it was like this random like international. I think it's like an international release or something. It was like a limited run, and I was like, Ninja Turtles, gotta get it. So
nice, sweet. What are we getting into for next week's topic?
Next week, guys. So we're gonna talk about. We're changing topics a little bit. I guess I could say this now. The three of us are doing YouTube. So I couldn't say that about a month ago. And maybe, I don't know. Let's see how long it lasts for me. But for right now, I'm a YouTuber. So
there you go.
What topic are we covering next week? We're going to talk about YouTubers that we watch on a regular basis. So people maybe that inspire us or people that we just enjoy their content. There's a variety, and I'm certain Russ and Keith and myself, we probably have very different tastes when it comes to our YouTubers outside of retro gaming. So
right,
for sure.
So I think it'll be fun if we maybe make lists and then we kind of talk about them. We'll show some maybe video stuff, not getting flagged or anything, but shout out some of our favorite YouTubers.
Nice.
Right?
There we go.
And leave us a list too. If you have someone that is your favorite YouTubers that you think maybe we should check out or someone else should check out that someone else might enjoy, leave us a comment and let us know, right?
Yeah.
And then at least we have something we can find, and it's something maybe new to us too.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
I dig it. Sweet. Hey, so if you guys want to check out our YouTube channels, what about you, Keith? Where can we find you?
Over at Retro Cart Collector on YouTube and on Instagram. New video every Sunday. I know I'm not going to be on anyone's list, but David, you might be. Where are they going to find you?
I don't think I'm going to be on anyone's list. Trust me. I believe I'm right here, right? Am I right here?
No,
Other side.
No.
Try again.
Oh, I knew
50,
it
50.
too.
It was 50-50.
All right. David Apuzzo. The channel is called Dave It's Me. Look me up. We just put out I just put out the first episode I've done in 3.5 years. That one right there. 3,000 plus square feet of retro. My buddy Cruz just opened up his new shop in Vernon, Connecticut. It's a fun little video seeing some people come out, some content creators came out. So check it out, guys. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe eventually I'll get on one of those favorite lists. Who knows?
Who knows?
But we're having fun.
That's
How about you, Russ?
Yeah, I mean, you guys check me out, my channel, Russ Lyman, over on YouTube. Again, I just dropped a new series where I'm going through Nintendo Power magazines. I think I'm going to expand into other magazines as well, Sega Visions, Game Pro. I have some TurboGrafx magazines. So that's my latest series. We got Nintendo Go, where I'm playing all the Nintendo games. And I got some DIY stuff as well. So Russ Lyman on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. If you want to follow me on there, it's all Russ Lyman. Russly Man. If you're having trouble spelling it, RUSSLYMAN.
Just stay away from those electronic gaming monthlies because those things are like, what, 200 pages each?
It's going to be a 5-hour episode.
Right?
For real.
We'll see. If you guys want to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and we do have a TikTok now, it's at the Weekly Warp Pipe. Again, we are offering channel memberships here on YouTube. $1 a month supports the show. $3 a month gets you sticker, button, membership card. Maybe we'll get patches. Let us know if you want patches.
Ooh, there we go.
And I think you also get we talked about having an acceptance letter as well. So we'll send you a nice letter.
Handwritten by David.
Handwritten in
cursive.
By us.
No comment. No comment. a handwritten digitized. You guys get the digital content, not the physical content.
Not the physical media.
Physical media, but it's digital.
That's true. It's a mismatch.
It's true, right? It's a mismatch. Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks for jumping in the Warp Pipe with us as always, and we'll see you on the next level.